Hey guys, we're still talking about the perfect law of liberty. It's something that we gaze into. It's a wonder of God's love for us and the liberty we are experiencing, because the burden of sin, the bondage to sin itself, the bondage to Satan, the bondage to things in life is gone, because it's all about the perfect law of liberty. Remember, it comes with responsibility to live that out well. But we're talking today about the perfection of God's love within the law of liberty. Because it's upon the law of God's love that the liberty is born, and it carries itself. God's love, we read in verse 14 of Psalm 119, says, is unfailing. That means it does not, cannot, will not, has not ever failed. When God loves as intensely as God loves, we see the amazingness of who He is, seen in His perfection, as is experienced in the wonder of His grace and His love for each one of us. Remember the other day we spoke about the issue of fear. We spoke about Satan. We spoke about the giant Goliath, whose greatest tool is that of intimidation, and is intimidating you to make you fearful. We used to think that that the answer to fear is faith. I have nothing against faith. I love faith, and I think faith is a great place for each one of us. But it's no good really toward us when it comes to the giant of fear. James tells us that it's perfect love that casts out fear. So don't go running too much to your faith, as good as that may be in the context of fear. When you're facing fear, you run into the presence of His love. That's the answer to fear. Just like a kid who's walking along a beach maybe, and he sees the tide coming in, and he sees, maybe he feels nervous and he feels fearful because of the things going on around him. His faith is not going to help him at that point. The presence of his mom and his dad is, however. And the little guy will run and find everything he needs in the comfort and in the place of the presence of his parents. Now, isn't that true with us? When we face fear, faith is great to have there in our pocket. Pull out the stone and throw it, but it's in the context of love that perfect love casts out fear. This is part of the law of liberty, that we walk in liberty because we walk in the covering of God's love for us. When we feel fearful, when we're up against the odds, when things are not going so well for us, it's all very well to hold on to your faith, but run into the presence of God's love for you, because that makes all the difference. That verse 14 is a verse we can hold our heads high with. He will God will never fail us at the point of His incredible love. Just think of that story we speak so often about, of the parable of the supposed prodigal who ran away, got fearful of everything, fearful that he would go back to his dad and find that his dad didn't love him anymore. How wrong was he? In the context of even his messed up life, he could run back to God and say, God, do you still love me? And God said, I've never stopped. Now, I don't know if any of you are hearing this today, the simple little message of devotion, are in a place where you maybe are doubting God's love for you. Maybe you think you've gone too far. Maybe you think you've passed the point of no return with God. Then stop thinking like that, for goodness sake. God's love for you is unfailing. It will never diminish. He can't do that. He is love. So whatever you are going through, and I'll stop now, but I want you to just know that God's unfailing love for you goes beyond the bound of your sinfulness, goes beyond the bound of how far you think you have gone from God, because His love is unfailing. It's therefore that we can hold to the law of liberty, because of God's amazing grace toward us. Simple truth for you to go into the weekend with. I hope you have a good one.